what is up? It is Berlin. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and if you're not, welcome back. Hi, happy Monday, how are ya? So, there's been a lot of drama popping off. First of all, I'm sorry I look so ugly tonight, and this is not how I normally look on this channel on YouTube. This is not how I like to come on camera and talk about stuff, but I've been at work all day today, so I haven't had time to sit down and do a full glam or anything yet. So I'm just going to get into this video while I start putting my skincare on, ready to put some makeup on. So, of course, you've gathered by the title, I want to talk a little bit about the whole Rich Lux, Def Noodles and Ethan Klein stuff that is going on right now. Now, if you don't know anything about what happened, Ethan Klein recently, a couple of weeks ago, on the H3 podcast, made some remarks that were really kind of homophobic. So he was basically belittling a gay guy who had called into his podcast to have a discussion with him, belittling this gay guy, saying, oh, you sound like a power bottom, and things like this that are just really kind of derogatory to say to a gay man, things that are stereotypical and things that are just kind of damaging to the LGBT plus community. Now, of course, me being a queer person, I was someone who sort of looked at the things that Ethan Klein had said during that podcast, and I did find the things that he was saying to be offensive to the LGBTQ plus community. You know, honestly, I really did. So I made a video about that at the time, so I'm not going to get back into everything that Ethan said that was, you know, derogatory and harmful and all of that stuff. But we're going to talk about Def Noodles, who's actually been sticking up for Ethan Klein ever since this happened. You know, nobody else has really been keeping this fire burning, keeping this discussion going, you know, about what Ethan said. Everybody's moved on from it by now because, you know, we've all moved on to talking about other things, other stuff that's happened, other kind of drama in the YouTube space, or, you know, the beauty space, which is mainly what I talk about over here on my channel. You know, we've all had other stuff that we want to talk about, other stuff. Ethan Klein and what he said got forgotten about. We all moved on. You know, Ethan made a half-assed apology on Twitter. Then, ever since then, he's been taking the mickey out of that apology that he made to the community. So, people started to question the validity of Ethan's apology to the LGBT plus community. And it got a lot worse from there because Def Noodles refused to kind of criticize Ethan for the things that he said, for his behavior. He didn't say anything about the fact that Ethan was being homophobic, whereas in the past, Def Noodles has been somebody who's absolutely called out a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of other creators, influencers, for doing that very thing, for being homophobic. He's called people out time and time again. He has dragged people on his channel who've said homophobic things. He's dragged people like Blair White for doing transphobic things or being, you know, kind of anti-trans towards the trans community. So it's very interesting to see Def Noodles, the same person who's dragged those people, sticking by Ethan Klein being homophobic. And then recently on Def Noodles' YouTube channel, on his Irrelevant News channel, what he did was he dug up a clip of somebody from the kind of right-wing movement.
Congratulate both Rich Lux and Keemstar for falling into the alt-right pipeline and supplying motherfuckers like Gavin McInnes and Tim Stool with the narratives that they want so they can continue to work against progressive causes, which is, at the end of the day, exactly what Rich Lux and Keemstar wanted, right? But should we really be that surprised?
And now, I'm not somebody who talks about politics on my channel a whole lot. I understand that me as a queer person, being queer is political in itself. But I'm not somebody who ever wanted to be like a social justice warrior and, you know, really get into politics in a big way. Because, to be truthful, it's not something that I really understand. It's not something that I'm comfortable speaking about. But Def Noodles found this clip of somebody who's quite right-wing talking about stuff. And then for some reason, he decided to kind of throw Rich Lux in under the bus and label Rich Lux as alt-right. And I'm like, hang on a minute, where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? To me, this just seemed like a very low blow and just an attack on a gay man. Rich Lux, who is a gay man. Def Noodles decided to label Rich Lux as alt-right. And I'm like, no, just because Rich Lux called out Ethan Klein for being homophobic, which he was, and there were also other drama channels like Dustin Daily who also called out Ethan Klein for making those homophobic and stereotypical remarks. But Def Noodles chose to throw Rich Lux under the bus just because Rich Lux had kind of, said, oh, hang on a minute, Ethan, that's not cool. I don't really appreciate what you said, and I'm not going to stick up for Ethan for saying what he said. But Rich Lux actually went in harder on Dan from the H3 podcast. And I was like, okay, so now Def Noodles is coming out claiming that Rich Lux is the alt-right pipeline. I mean, Rich Lux is a comedian, first of all. He's a comedian. He's a tea channel, a drama channel, talks a lot about the beauty world and stuff like that as well. He has a vlog channel. He's not somebody that's some kind of evil person who's like the nemesis, the arch enemy of the woke lefty community. No, Rich Lux is a gay man who makes videos on YouTube, flipping his fan, talking about makeup, talking about beauty influencers. So I don't know where the fuck Def Noodles got this idea that Rich Lux is somehow alt-right. I really don't. I don't understand it at all. Alt-right as a thing, I don't even really understand what that is. I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys. Politics is not my speciality at all. But what I will do is stand up for Rich Lux, because I know that Rich Lux was only pointing out Ethan's homophobia and talking about Dan, telling people to F off and unsubscribe from the H3 podcast if they were kind of offended about what Ethan had said. Dan was very rude. He was like, oh yeah, well, you're all too sensitive. You can all F off and unsubscribe. So Rich Lux was just pointing that out. He wasn't trying to be like anti-left or anything like this. So to say that he was, to me, that was a really low blow from Def Noodles. And Def Noodles, like I said, he's been, very gung-ho about trying to cancel people and talk about people who've said homophobic things or done transphobic things. So I find it really ironic that, having said what he said about cancel culture in the past, Def Noodles is now complaining about people trying to cancel Ethan Klein for what he said.
People have always expressed their negative thoughts or feelings towards things. People have always expressed their dislike. You don't get, this is part of the fucking business. Not everybody's gonna fucking love you. That's how it fucking works.
But the very moment anyone dare say anything about Ethan Klein being homophobic, oh no, all of a sudden that was sending Ethan hate. That wasn't people expressing their opinions or trying to educate Ethan. That was people just sending Ethan hate and trying to cancel Ethan. Oh, look, you must be the alt-right because you're criticising somebody and you're trying to cancel somebody and blah, blah, blah. Fucking hell, Def Noodles is eating himself at this point. Def Noodles' content used to be funny, the whole irrelevant news thing, when he had his cat ears and stuff like that. His content used to be funny, but lately his content isn't even funny. It's not even humour at this point. It's just not funny to watch anymore. He just comes on, talking about this person, that person. And it seems to come from quite a bitter place now. It doesn't even seem like it's humour or comedy anymore. So I'm finding all this really, really funny because it is pretty much Def Noodles eating himself. Def Noodles showing everybody that he's a complete hypocrite and that he cannot be objective when it comes to Ethan Klein.
Paige Christie worded it really well on Twitter yesterday when she said, what a shame, Def Noodles is such a joke at this point. It's funnier than the comedy he professes to make, but nobody laughs at. Are you not embarrassed? Alt-right pipeline. How do you overspeak a gay man who is offended by something Ethan said about his demographic and then call him out for supplying the alt-right information that Ethan himself put online, then profess to tell this LGBT member that Ethan is an ally? An ally isn't a descriptive term, it's an actionable term. You have to be active. So please tell me what Ethan is actively doing to be an ally. How is he giving back to the LGBTQIA+, besides humiliating them publicly by feminising certain aspects of their sexuality? Your fall from grace is the worst I've ever seen. The numbers are cute, but your soul is dead. Such a shame.
And I feel like Paige hit the nail bang on the head there, because what is Ethan actually doing for the queer community? What is he doing for queer people? Is he sending money to LGBTQ plus homeless shelters? Is he doing anything for the trans community? You know, is he helping anyone fund their top surgery, or is he helping anyone in any other way? Do you know what I mean? What is Ethan Klein actually doing? He's put up his merchandise, like the Teddy Fresh merchandise, on Twitter again today. So I'm looking at all this and I'm thinking, okay, well, you guys are clearly, you know, making money from your merch and all of that, you know, cute, you know, get your bag, all of that. But, you know, you could donate some money to the Trevor Project. You could donate money to various LGBTQ plus charities, and then you'd actually be doing something for the community. But they're not doing that, you know, they're not. They're just telling people to F off and unsubscribe from their podcast when Ethan says things that are homophobic. And then Deaf Noodles over here is defending what Ethan said. It's like, guys, this isn't how you do it. This isn't how you be an ally to the queer community, you know. And I just find it so hypocritical that Deaf Noodles, of all people, is somebody trying to defend something that he's called people out for time and time and time again on his channel. You know, that is what Deaf Noodles does. He drags influencers. He drags people for saying homophobic stuff, for not being progressive, you know. And then when somebody drags his friend for not being progressive, oh, all of a sudden Deaf Noodles changes his tune. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop this little video right here, but let me know all your thoughts on this situation. Let me know what you think about Deaf Noodles, you know, sticking up for Ethan Klein, really going hard for Ethan Klein, riding hard for Ethan Klein. It's a mess, girl. It's a mess. Anyway, take care of yourselves. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.